Picture this. It's a Saturday morning, May 2005. Pretty normal, right? An elderly librarian in Winter Park, Florida, just doing her job, sorting books. Then she sees this newspaper headline, and it just stops her cold. It's about looted books from World War II. And there, in this faded photo, it's her book. A book she thought was gone forever, from a past she'd buried deep.
Wow. Just like that, out of the blue.
Exactly. Staring back at her from the New York Times. And her whole quiet world just shatters. So this deep dive, it's all about that moment, that spark. It's about a single old leather-bound book called Épîtres et Évangiles, published way back in 1732 in Paris.
And this isn't just some dusty old volume. It's a symbol, isn't it, of incredible courage, love, and fighting back against something truly evil during World War II.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to unpack the journey that starts with that photo. We're going to explore the double life of this woman, Eva. We'll look at the really ingenious methods people used to forge documents during the war, life or death stuff.
And the real people behind it all, the inspiration for these acts of resistance.
Yeah, and the power of memory, of connection that somehow survives decades. It all kicks off when Eva, who's now Mrs. Abrams, sees that article. 60 years after end of World War II, German librarian seeks to reunite looted books.
And the photo shows Otto Kuhn, this librarian from Berlin, holding her book, the one she thought had vanished.
Right. And that discovery just throws her back.
Yeah.
Back to Berlin, back into her past, and eventually toward someone she thought she'd lost forever.
It's really quite something how an object like that, just a book, can act as such a powerful memory trigger, especially for trauma that's been deliberately buried.
Yeah.
For Eva, this book, it's not just paper and ink. It sort of bypasses all those emotional walls she built over decades, forces her to confront everything she tried to leave behind.
That's incredible. It's like the past just reached out and grabbed her.
It's actually a known psychological thing, A sudden sensory input, a sight, a smell, a sound can just compel you to reevaluate your whole life story.
What a way for the past to catch up. So, okay, let's unpack Eva's story. Let's go back, way back, to occupied Paris. Eva was young, a student, loved books. A book rat, they called her. And she was Jewish. Her father, Tatouche, he had this optimism, maybe unrealistic optimism. Despite the Germans everywhere, he kind of thought they can only bother us if we let them.
A common sentiment, sadly, trying to maintain normalcy in the face of, well, the unimaginable.
But things were getting grim, the rules tightening. Jews forced into the last metro car, hot and crowded. And then the Yellow Star. Hard to ignore that. Then Eva meets Joseph Pelletier. Charming guy, half-Jewish student. She's kind of drawn to him. And he gives her this terrifying warning.
Right, about the mass arrests.
Yeah, he says 20,000 Jews are going to be arrested. 20,000. But her parents, they just dismiss it. It's just a rumor.
It's so hard to fathom now, but that denial, it was a coping mechanism for many, wasn't it? Facing that kind of horror head-on was maybe just too much?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But tragically, it left them vulnerable.
Absolutely. That clinging to a false sense of security, it blurred the lines of what was actually happening and what was possible.
And the horror did come. Her father, Tatouche, is arrested. By French police, no less.
Devastating.
Her mother, Faiga, she's just distraught. And in her grief, she actually blames Eva.
Oh, that's harsh. Misdirected grief, maybe.
Probably. And in that chaos, Eva realizes they are on the list too. Their names. But then this twisted neighbor, Madame Fontaine, she needs help hiding her own daughters. And that moment, it just forces Eva's hand. No more waiting.
Survival mode kicks in.
Exactly. She has to act. So Eva, with her world just falling apart, goes to her father's old boss, Monsieur Goujon.
Right.
He can't shelter them, not directly. But he gives her something crucial. A forger's kit.
Ah, the tools of the trade.
Yeah, think about it. Art pens, blank ID cards, travel permits,
Yeah.
even blank naturalization and birth certificates for her and her mother.
Everything needed to essentially erase their old lives and create new ones.
And he tells them where to go. Orignan. Tiny town, unimportant, down south near Vichy, in the hills.
Yeah.
And that's where Eva, the book rat, starts her transformation.
Into Eva, the forger. And this is where you see that incredible ingenuity born out of sheer desperation. She has these basic tools, art pens, blank paper, and she has to create completely believable identities.
It sounds impossible.
Almost. Meticulously copying official handwriting, duplicating those stamps, the Police Nationale, the Nazi Eagle, the Reichsadler.
Nah.
Even blotting the ink just so to make it look aged, authentic. These weren't just clever tricks, they were survival techniques, mirroring what real resistance members did.
And you mentioned the author based this on real history.
Precisely. The blend of art and science almost that we see in Eva and later with Remy, it's inspired by real figures.
Like who?
Well, people like Adolfo Kaminsky, who had a chemistry background. He figured out ways to chemically erase ink on documents so they could be reused.
No kidding, like the Waterman's blue ink thing?
Exactly that, using lactic acid, which Remy later learns about. And others, like Gabrielle Barraud, who used a hand-printing press idea, even finding names for false identities by checking official gazettes like the Journal Official. Real tradecraft.
So these incredible details, they come from actual dangerous work people were doing.
Absolutely. It highlights the immense risks and the cleverness required just to stay alive, let alone help others.
It wasn't just about copying a document. It was about making it seem utterly real, like it always existed.
Yes, seamless. But think about the psychological pressure, too.
Oh, yeah, constantly living a lie.
Remembering your fake name, your fake story, explaining your accent. It's a performance, 247, where one wrong move means death. It's not just forging paper, it's forging a whole self.
A heavy burden. So Eva gets to work. She creates these new identities. Her mother becomes Sabine Fontaine, a Russian émigré that explains the accent, whose husband is a French patriot, conveniently missing. And Eva becomes Colette Fontaine. She even uses a typewriter for their travel papers to Orignan. The train journey itself must have been nerve-wracking.
A real trial by fire for her new skills. Document checks by French police, German soldiers. Constant tension.
But they make it. And Orignan, it's so different from Paris. It's colorful, alive, flowers everywhere, even with the war going on.
A stark contrast, a little pocket of seeming normalcy.
They find lodging with Madame Barbier. And she's interesting herself, a Russian white émigré.
Ah, so she tests the mother's Russian.
She does. And Feiga, who's actually Polish-Jewish, somehow pulls it off. Though Madame Barbier, she still seems a bit suspicious. But Eva, or rather Colette, is established.
That suspicion, though, it's part of the vetting process, isn't it? In these occupied zones, you couldn't trust easily. Madame Barbier wasn't necessarily hostile, maybe just cautious, testing the waters.
Turns out you're right. Because later, Père Clément, the limping priest Eva noticed earlier, he approaches her.
The plot thickens.
He reveals Madame Barbier did report them, but not to the Germans, to him.
Ah, so Madame Barbier was part of the network, or at least a gatekeeper.
Seems like it. Instead of turning Eva in, Père Clément recognizes her talent, her forgery skills, and invites her to join his resistance network. A huge moment of trust.
A validation of her skills and a doorway into a much larger, much more dangerous world.
Exactly. And this is where she meets Remy. He's another forger, working in this secret library hidden behind the church altar. Amazing hiding place.
And Remy has that chemistry background, right? Like Kaminsky.
Yeah. He shows Eva the trick with the lactic acid from local farmer's cream, believe it or not, to erase Waterman's blue ink. That lets them reuse genuine documents.
Which is huge, safer, more authentic than starting from scratch every time. A game changer, like you said.
Then Eva finds the book, the Epîtres et Évangiles, 1732, and Remy explains its secret purpose.
The code.
The code. Using the Fibonacci sequence 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and so on to mark letters on specific pages. That's how they encode the real names of the children they're saving.
And their false identities, too, eventually.
Right. So if the book was ever found by the Nazis, the code would just look like random marks. Meaningless.
Brilliant. Simple, yet effective.
Eva dedicates page 1 to herself, her own name, and Remy, he dedicates page 2 to her. A connection formed right there, in the code. And Eva is passionate about this, recording the children's real names. She says it's very important that they're not forgotten.
Absolutely. It echoes what her mother said in despair earlier, doesn't it? They are erasing us, not even our names will remain.
Yes.
So this act of coding the names, it goes beyond just the practicalities of escape. It's a profound act of defiance against dehumanization. The Nazis wanted to turn people into numbers, erase their history. Eva's work insists, no, these are individuals, they have names, they matter.
It's preserving their identity, their very soul, in a way.
Precisely. It's resistance on a much deeper level.
Wow. So the network grows. Eva has this idea using a hand-printing press. Madame Roro, the local bookseller who's sympathetic, gets them one.
Another real-world technique creeping in. Mass production becomes possible.
Suddenly, they can churn out hundreds of documents, much faster, much more efficient. Eva also gets close to the children they're helping, especially a little girl, Anne, 6½, who loves The Wizard of Oz.
Ah.
Anne's certainty that she'll find her way home, like Dorothy. It becomes a symbol of hope for Eva, too.
Amidst all the darkness, these small flames of hope.
But there's a personal cost. A huge one. Eva's mother, Feiga, she really struggles with Eva's work.
I can imagine.
She feels abandoned, betrayed even. She sees Eva involved in Catholic activities at the church, helping erase Jewish identities from her perspective. It creates this awful rift between them.
That's heartbreaking. It shows the impossible choices, the diverging loyalties within families torn apart by war. Feiga's fear and sense of loss are palpable. Her identity as a Jew is fundamental, and seeing Eva seemingly drift from that, even for a greater cause, it's a deep wound.
A terrible conflict. Meanwhile, Remy, he feels he needs to do more than forge papers.
Right, he transitions.
He joins the armed resistance, the Maquis, uses his explosives knowledge to fight the Germans directly, which of course is incredibly dangerous and takes him away from Eva.
Raising the stakes even higher?
And then
Wow.
betrayal. The worst kind. Joseph Pelletier shows up again.
The charming student from Paris, the one who warned her.
The very same. Now he's a resistance leader, codename Gerard Faucon, but he uses Eva's trust, gets access to their sensitive documents.
Oh, no.
And Genevieve, who's become Eva's new forging partner, she gets involved with him romantically.
That's a recipe for disaster.
It is. Joseph, driven by pure self-preservation, betrays the entire network. And when Genevieve refuses to tell him where Eva is, he shoots her. Fatally.
Horrific.
Eva finds her dying, holds her hand, sings her a lullaby, Au clair de la lune. She passes. Just gut-wrenching.
It really rams home the brutality, but also the moral complexities. Joseph's actions are monstrous, but born from that desperate survival instinct we talked about. It forces you to confront that gray area in wartime where fear makes people do unthinkable things.
It's chilling. Eva confronts him later. He admits it all trading other resistance members, Godebert included, to save his own skin. He was going to hand Eva over too. Survival over loyalty. Full stop.
A stark choice.
But amidst that darkness, there's this unexpected light. Eric, a German soldier.
An enemy soldier.
Yeah, but he'd been secretly tipping off the resistance about raids. He shows up at the church just as things are collapsing. And to save Eva from Joseph and maybe the incoming German forces, Eric kills himself. Creates a diversion.
Wow. An act of ultimate sacrifice from the other side.
It profoundly affects Eva. Shows her that, as she puts it, virtue could live within everyone.
That's powerful. It transcends the easy categories of us and them, a reminder of individual conscience existing even within oppressive systems.
A crucial lesson, maybe. So, things are falling apart. Remy and Eva share this quick, fleeting kiss. They promise to meet after the war. Mazarin Library in Paris.
A promise of a future.
But it's not to be, is it? Remy gets kids safely to Switzerland, then rejoins the Maquis. He's killed in an ambush, hunting down a traitorous gendarme named Besnard.
Oh, that's tragic. So close.
And the worst part is the misinformation. Père Clément and the others, they hear Eva was killed. Remy thinks she made it safely to Switzerland. Nobody knows the truth.
The chaos of war, severing connections, spreading false narratives.
Eva waits. For 2 years, she waits at the Mazarin Library. She's convinced Remy left her a coded message in a copy of Tom Sawyer.
Hope dies hard.
But he never comes. Her father's dying of cancer back home, urging her to move on, to live. So in late 1946, Eva gives up. She emigrates to America, leaves her past, her name, her hope for Remy, all behind.
Just buries it all. It underscores how war doesn't just kill people. It shatters lives, fragments memories, creates these lasting voids.
A heartbreaking end to that chapter, but as we know from the start, the story wasn't over.
The book reappears.
Exactly. Fast forward to 2005. Eva goes to Berlin. She confirms that the Épîtres Évangiles is the real deal, the Book of Lost Names. She explains the code to Otto Kuhn, the German librarian, how it held the secrets, the identities of hundreds of children.
And sharing that secret seems to unlock something in her, too.
He does. She decides finally to tell her son, Ben, about her past. She takes Kuhn's advice. The first identity to recover should be your own.
A pivotal moment of self-reclamation.
And then, the miracle. Kuhn's assistant, Mila, leads Eva to meet someone. A man.
Don't tell me.
It's Remy.
Oh, after all that time.
Yes. He saw the New York Times article, too. They just stand there sharing their stories, the misinformation, the lost years, the waiting, the giving up hope.
Unbelievable. Where had he been?
He became a chemist, ended up living in New Mexico. He had also given up hope of ever finding her, assumed she was gone.
60 years of silence broken by a newspaper photo.
And then Eva tells him the message she encoded for him all those years ago in the Book of Lost Names.
What was it?
Épouse-moi, je t'aime, marry me, I love you.
Wow.
And Remy, he just looks at her and says, if the offer is still open, my answer is yes.
Oh my goodness. That's That's incredible after
A
everything.
lifetime of waiting resolved in that moment.
It's an extraordinary ending. Or maybe a beginning. It speaks volumes about that human need for connection, for closure. The book, that tool of resistance and secret hope, literally brought them back together.
Yeah.
It shows how these hidden stories, preserved against all odds, don't just record history. They can actually mend lives, fulfill destinies deferred for decades. That message, hidden for so long, finally delivered.
So there you have it. We've followed Eva's journey from student to skilled forger, an agent of resistance saving lives against incredible odds. We've touched on the real-world ingenuity behind wartime forgery, the tough moral choices people faced.
And the unbelievable power of one book to hold secrets, hope, and love across 60 years.
Yeah, ultimately bringing two people back together. This story, while it's fiction, feels so real because it's grounded in historical truth. It reminds you that ordinary people with courage and cleverness really can change things, like the author says.
It really does. And it makes us think about what defines us, doesn't it? It's not just names or where we're from. It's the choices we make, the compassion we show, especially when times are darkest.
Absolutely. So as you think about Eva and Remy and that book, maybe ask yourself this. What forgotten stories, what buried truths might be waiting in your own life or in the history swirling around you? What's waiting to be rediscovered and maybe, just maybe, shape your destiny?